Okay, so the presentation that we have today is called How to Talk About News and Recent Events. So if you have any problems listening to me, you can write in the chat if there's any, if there's any technical problems. And so yes, today is about talking about recent news and recent events. So these can be news stories or also, for example, news in your life. So yes, number one, today we will see about talking about general news in the media and also local news. After that, we will talk about how to talk about recent events, family and social life, traveling, and finally about life changes and achievements. If you need to, you can open Deepu. Deepu is a translator. So if you need to, you can open Deepu. And yes, you can translate words if necessary. And if you have a pen and paper, you can write some notes. So number one, firstly, today we will talk about the news. So yes, it says here, if we stay informed about current events, it's crucial for several reasons. So yes, we can become aware of the world around us and have meaningful discussions. So yes, firstly, we will see about the news, the different types of news. In English, we have the local news from your town, the international news, sports news, talking about athletic events, competitions, scores, etc. Entertainment news with celebrities, business and financial news, and finally, science and technological news. And okay, so here we have some expressions. So if you want to talk about a friend or a colleague, you can say to them, for example, did you hear about? And you can finish each sentence with the different news stories. So yes, we use, for example, did you hear about? In the news today, one interesting headline is, this story caught my attention because, a recent update that everyone is talking about. So yes, all of these expressions you can use to introduce the topic to a different person. The example is, a recent update that everyone is talking about is the discovery of a subway tunnel in the Crimean Peninsula. And okay, so we have some useful vocabulary. We have headline, breaking news, current affairs, journalist, media source, update, and broadcast. Here we have an example of a conversation which uses the vocabulary. So yes, here is the vocabulary, and we have a conversation. So yes, there are two different people. The friend, hey, have you heard about the cyclone approaching the Reunion Island? Because I think two weeks ago there was a cyclone. I think 2 weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago. So then the other person replies, yes, it's all over the headlines. I saw a breaking news alert earlier. Where did you get the information? I checked various media sources, and a journalist on the ground provided live updates. it's a serious current affairs situation. For the last paragraph, there is a translation. If you want to look, you can see the translation. And so yes, here is the example with the vocabulary. After, you can ask for people's opinions. So if you want to ask for an opinion, these expressions you can ask normally about local news. So news in your town, news in your city. So for example, what do you think about the city's plans to replace the old bridge? The first three expressions are very similar. What do you think about? What do you make of? Or what's your opinion? All of these expressions are the same, asking for an opinion. For example, what do you make? What do you make of the new cafeteria? You can change to what's your opinion on the new cafeteria. So yes, the first three examples are very similar. Number 4 is asking for the point of view, but you can change view with stand. So what's your stand? What's your position on the changes to our curriculum? So yes, all of these words are very similar. Your view, your take, your stand. For example, number 5, where do you stand on drunk driving laws? And finally, yes, the last one is asking, how do you feel about the recent weather? And if you like, in the chat, you can use one of these expressions and change the ending. So yes, you can use the beginning of the expression and then change the ending to a different news story. So yes, each person can write one example in the chat. So Christine's example is, what do you think about the global warming? And then here we would just finish the sentence with crisis, because we use the. So then we can just change with, what do you think about the global warming crisis? What's your opinion of, yes, and then this one, just use the article the. What's your opinion of the strike? And what's your stand on Brexit? And nice, yes, very, very good questions. And wait 1 second in case somebody else writes a question. And okay, so on the next topic we have is family and social life. So yes, family and social life. First, we will review some vocabulary. Probably the majority of the vocabulary you may know. But yes, you have husband and wife, fiancé and fiancée, like in French, is the same. Widow or widower, if the person's husband or wife has died. And yes, a witness, a person who observes an event, is a witness. Here we have father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, and sister-in-law. So yes, these are your family after your marriage. And when it's not my husband. Okay. In this case, you can normally we say my partner. If it's not your husband, not your fiance, but it's a serious relationship, normally partner. And a blended family. So when blended is when, yes, recomposé. So when two families come together. Stepfather, stepmother, stepsister, stepbrother. Yes, when you have no blood relation. Half sister, half brother is when you have one mom or the dad is the same. And okay, here the ancestors sibling we use to describe brother or sister. Nephew and niece, easy to remember. And yes, twin brother, triplets, etc. And so to ask about recent events, here we have expressions that we use in social situations with family and friends. Number 4 is the most common. So yes, if you speak to your friends and family, often we ask, what have you been up to? So yes, what have you been up to is asking the person what they have done recently. What have you been doing with yourself all this time? Number 1 is if you haven't seen a person for a long time. Number 2 and number 3 are more informal. What's up? What's new? Etc. And okay, so we have here some responses. So yes, recently my family and I attended a social event where it was a memorable experience because there has been a lot going on. So yes, we use all of these expressions often. So for example, I attended a social event where we visited a vineyard, for example. There has been a lot going on, including the marriage of my sister. So yes, often we use these responses. If you haven't heard from a person for a long time, then you can ask about the other person to your friend. So yes, you can ask your friend or your family member about other people. And for example, number 1, have you heard anything from Olivia? Number 4, I think, is the most common question. We ask people, how's your family doing? My family is fine. My mother is fine. So yes, we use number 4 very, very often to emphasize, to ask small talk. After that, yes, have you had a chance to talk to Ava recently? In a job situation, yes, you can ask your colleagues, have you had a chance to talk to Bob about the presentation, for example? We have useful vocabulary. So yes, the vocabulary related to social activities, celebration, gathering is when a group of people come together. We use gathering often. So yes, gathering you can say, for example, we are having a family gathering at our house this Sunday. You can also use gathering with friends. We are having a gathering at the beach. Do you want to come? So we use this word often. Reunion is not the same as French. So when we use reunion, we use this to say that people will meet together after a long time. So, for example, if you haven't seen your family for a long time, you can plan a family reunion or have a family reunion once per year. So a reunion is when you haven't seen people for a long time. Milestone memory, tradition, socialize, and cherish. Uh, now we will discuss about traveling. So yes, here we have common questions to ask people about their past experiences. So you can use these to ask about general past experiences or experiences connected to traveling. Number one is similar to what we saw before. Have you been up to? And then they finish the phrase with, have you been up to anything exciting? What happened after you went back to Japan? Here, the expression I'm dying or I'm anxious is when you want to hear about something. Yes, you really want to hear about something. I'm dying, I'm anxious to hear about your new job. And number four is the popular question to remember. What have you been up to? And if you want lots of details, ask the person, fill me in. And also in a job situation, after a meeting, you can ask a person, fill me in on the meeting, etc. Here we have how to introduce an experience. So yes, we can use these expressions and then give details about the experience. So for example, you'll never guess what. There are the translations below if necessary. So yes, you'll never guess what happened to me. For example, in Paris, when I arrived, etc. Fill me in is to give me, let's see if there is, yes, here there is a translation, but it's very small. It says, raconte-moi tout. So yes, my friend's pronunciation is not the best. But yes, so yes, that's similar to fill me in is when you want to know everything. So yes, you want to know everything, you say fill me in. And okay, so yes, here we have the expressions. So for example, number two, let me tell you about what happened with my family at Christmas. And you can tell people your story with number two. It's a good way to introduce a story. Number three is if something very exciting happened, or for example, gossip. If people are talking about something, people say, "Guess what happened to Tom?" And everybody starts to talk about the gossip. So yes, guess what happened, and guess what? It's the same. After that, finally, we will see life changes and achievements. So yes, life changes and achievements can be personal or job related. We have useful vocabulary, aspiration, mission, resolution, milestone, vision, the benchmark, achievement, an action plan, project, proposal, goal setting, and success. So yes, I think most of these are pretty simple, and we use them, yes, in job and social contexts. First, we have the question, what are your professional goals? So for example, my professional goals are to study French more at the moment, and yes, to learn more about computer skills. For example, what are your professional ambitions? Yes, your ambition is similar to your goal, but yes, it can be maybe bigger, maybe bigger. My ambition is to be the boss of the company, for example. What are your academic aims related to your studying? My academic aims are to study English. Your objectives. So yes, we can use the word here, objective or goals. What objectives do you want to reach in your life? For example, I would like to write a book. And yes, you have two more examples. So yes, you can use these in a job context or with friends or social contexts to get to know people. Here we have the different responses. So to respond to the question, we can say my ambition is, or my goal is, which is similar. Normally, ambitions and goals are related to jobs, but not always. My dream normally is outside of your job. So my dream is to travel around India for 1 year, for example. Finally, you have I hope or I aspire. So yes, what you plan to do in the future. I plan to sail around the world one day. In this case, you can see we can use I plan to. So with the infinitive, I plan to write a book. Or we can use I plan on with the gerund. So we can say I plan on writing a book. So yes, you can use I plan to or I plan on. And okay, so we have I dream. With I dream, after we follow with the preposition of. So I dream of, and then we have the gerund. I dream of traveling. I dream of writing. And it's my dream is followed by the infinitive. It's my dream to climb Mount Everest if you're very adventurous. And I'm striving. I'm striving is when you try very hard to do something. I'm striving to make $1 million because yes, you have to work very hard to make $1 million. And yes, the final one is I'm aiming. So yes, here you have the translation for yes after retiring. So if you need the translation for the last four expressions, you can see the translation. So the final activity is to use one of these expressions or two, if you want to use two of the expressions, in the chat and change the ending. So you can change the ending for you, or you can invent something if you want to invent an answer. So yes, you can write one or two different examples in the chat. Perfect. And then, so yes, the first example I have from John Celine. And here maybe is a typo, but yes, we can say my ambition is to speak English very well. So yes, ambition with no S. But yes, if you have many ambitions, you can say my ambitions are, if you have many ambitions. I hope to find an interesting role. Yes, it's a good example. I hope to find an interesting role, maybe at my new job. And if anybody else wants to, you can write one or two more examples in the chat to finish. And but yes, all of these expressions from the presentation today we use often in English. So if you have time after, you can check the conference and learn some of the expressions, because all of them we use on a regular basis. And the final example I have is, I'm striving to have a good level in English. And nice, it's a good objective. And so yes, my ambitions. Ah, yes, this one also is just one ambition. So yes, if it's one ambition, we just use the singular form. My ambition. My ambition is to speak English. Uh, and then here we can change have for I have difficult. Yes, we can say it is difficult for me to understand. But yes, it's a good objective to practice your English. A very good objective. And so yes, all of nice. I'm aiming for, and then after aiming, we would use for in this context. I'm aiming for the level C1. So yes, thank you for the examples. And I will, yes, we will publish the presentation so you can have a look at the expressions and try to practice them with your friends if you have a chance. And have a good yes, have a good evening.